welcome to the November Canfield Board of Education meeting. I apologize for the technical difficulties, that's why we're starting late, but we did wait for you at home. We didn't start without you, so now that we've got all that squared away, we're going to kick this off. Ms. Prince, can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Wilkerson, President.
Here.
Mrs. DiCaprio, Vice President.
Here.
Mr. Atway.
Here.
Mr. Campbell.
Here.
Mrs. Klucher.
Here.
We're going to say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's start with the principal's reports. Go high school? All right.
Okay, Mr. Shields relinquished the time to me because I have a couple more things to say. First of all, we got
Can you go to
Oh,
the
you want me
mic?
to go to the mic?
Mike, can you go to the mic?
Sure. Never met a mic I didn't like.
A little bit. I knew that was coming.
So anyway, we got some great news. The Ohio Football Coaches Association, 5 years ago, created an award, an all-academic award. This award's only been in place for 5 years, and Canfield High School has been a recipient of this award for 5 years in a row. It's based on 22 letter winners and their GPA for the first 9 weeks of the academic year. And this year, our top 22 letter winners had a combined GPA in the first 9 weeks of 3.92, which is just astounding. And that's a credit to the students, obviously, and Coach Pav and his crew, who really emphasize athletics. So the shout goes out to them.
Very nice.
Stephanie Ruark is our new, one of our new counselors, and we had a program, we still have a program, it's called peer tutoring, where kids actually take it for a class where they help other kids. But she has designed and really formalized this, where it's really going to take off, and we're really, really excited about it. If a student is having trouble, they can apply, and let's say it's having trouble in math, and we'll hook that student up with an NHS kid or a peer tutor, which will help that student. And we always had this in place, but it has never been formalized. So we're just thrilled that Stephanie did that, which is really, really good. We have a young lady who works in our library as an aide. Her name's Jen Cusick, and she does a wonderful job in there. And she came to me earlier in the 9 weeks, and she said, I have some students who really are interested in the book club. And Jen has a lot of experience in public libraries and in our library. And she says, I would like to volunteer and just meet with these students after school for this book club. And long story short, you know, there's social distance and everything, but it's really taken off. And just kudos go out to Jen Cusick for volunteering her time to work with the students. Canfield High School now has a book club, which has really been successful. Jen does a great, great job with that. Once again, our speech team got another letter recognized by the National Speech Association. And of course, Mr. Hamilton, they're having an outstandingly successful year. I don't know how many tournaments they've won, but they've won quite a few, finishing first place. If you know anything about speech, that's a difficult thing to accomplish because you've got 15, 20 teams in a tournament. And how do you say enough about Jeremy Hamilton and the job that he does with our speech program? You just can't. It's unbelievable. And we got national recognition once again for that. The last thing I'd like to say from the high school perspective, and me personally, got the news that Mr. Tullio is going to retire. And just want to, I've spoken to him privately, and I want to just publicly say how much he's meant to me as a mentor, as a friend. You can hear my voice cracking. And he's the best. And he cares more about Canfield High School and Canfield School District than anybody I know. And John, thank you. God bless.
Middle school, right?
everybody. Jed Rubin, the principal of Canfield Middle School. Just want to reiterate a thank you for PTA for Halloween. Again, our goal at the middle school was to try to get our kids back, but try to keep a normal day and a normal year in the best we can in these situations. And Halloween was just that, and we were able to keep our tradition going with the kids dressing up, and also getting a special treat from the PTA. So just another great day. Veterans Day Assembly, again, another special day. Something we do every year. We did it virtually, and it was wonderful. We made a point to make sure that the entire building watched it at 9:30 a.m. We want it to be, sometimes we have virtual assemblies, they're done during their academy times, but on that special day, it was nice for the entire building to watch the program. And we thank Mr. Knoll for sharing his story a little bit. It was very touching, and I think it got the students and the staff a better idea what you're about, and so we really appreciate your participation in that assembly. Our second Harvest Food Drive is something that I believe in every year. It's been just my like a passion project, and our student council students are doing a wonderful job. The only thing we don't have this year is our visual. If you come in our building towards the middle of November, you'll see about 25 or 30 Second Harvest Food Bank boxes, but due to some of the other drop-offs and pickups staying in the lobby, we moved to another location, but we're well on our way to 5,000 pounds of food for our food drive. And we change little things up. We do a theme every day, and the theme that seems to be very the kids enjoy the most is Toilet Paper Tuesday. So Second Harvest Food Bank's in need of paper products, and so we have kids stacking toilet paper and paper towels and things like that in all the boxes. So again, just a wonderful tribute to our families that do so much here. Our Spotlight student is officially going to be up this week. We'll be announcing 2 students each grade level. If you have a chance to pop in our building and right by the nurses station, our visual, our Spotlight Cardinals visual is up on the wall. It looks wonderful. We thank Sam Napa for doing so many great artistic things to our building, and we're just excited to recognize those students this week. And also our spelling bee will be in December as well. So I just want to again thank Mr. Tullio too. I don't want to upset him too much, but he's been a guardian angel to me since day one. Even before my interview, I remember just meeting him and talking to him before I even went for an interview. It was like a calm over me that I just felt real comfortable. I just felt like this was going to be a home for me, and I thank you for everything. And I'm going to miss our lunches, but we'll still catch one here and there. Salads, Mr. Tullio. Salads only, I swear. So thank you.
Good evening. I'm not as tall as Mr. Morgan and Mr. Rubin, obviously. I'm Joe Moran. I'm in charge of the Cardinal Digital Academy. Just a couple things since our last meeting. We had our air assessments in 3rd grade, and we held those at the Canfield Library. And I want to thank the folks there for allowing us to use the conference room. Mr. Tullio set that up, so I appreciate him taking care of that for us. So we had a safe place for those kids to test. Socially distanced. We made sure everything had been wiped down, and testing went very well. We tested all of our 3rd grade students, I think except for one in the Cardinal Digital Academy. So we're waiting for those results. They come out in December. We want to see how all our kids do. We sent home report cards, which was interesting. You have to mail out report cards to all of our kids digitally. You couldn't do like in elementary where you stuff them in a backpack at the end of the day. So we did mail out over 400 report cards to our CDA students. Back on Thursday, November 5th. Monday, the 9th, we opened up registration for the 2nd semester of the Cardinal Digital Academy. I know it's early, the first 9 weeks just ended, but we need to get some numbers so we know how we're going to proceed forward. As of today, we had over 50% of our parents respond to our survey, and out of those over 50%, 82%, almost 83% are returning to the Cardinal Digital Academy for the 2nd semester. So about 17%, it's about 39 kids right now, 39 kids. And it's very evenly distributed between all the buildings. I think there are 9 at each of the elementaries, 11 at the middle school, and 9 at the high school. So that's a credit to our teachers for doing an outstanding job and motivating those kids and keeping them on task. And the parents have recognized that and want to keep their kids in the Cardinal Digital Academy during this difficult time. And we're very happy to be able to offer that service to them. The last couple of days, we've been giving the fourth grade COGAT and Iowa test to our fourth graders. That's our gifted screener. And again, we've been using the conference room at the Campbell Library. And I want to thank Robin Costello, who's a tutor at the middle school. Kim Benson has not been feeling well. She's under the weather and felt that it was not a good idea for her to come in to administer that test to fourth grade students. So Robin has stepped up and is helping me administer that test. And I just want to thank her for all of her hard work in doing that. Again, the enrollment for our Digital Academy second semester ends on December 4th. And at our next board meeting, I'll have some final numbers for you at how that looks for the second semester. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
Good evening, everyone. Michael Flood, Principal of Hilltop. Just a couple things. We also had Halloween on Friday the 30th. It was amazing to see the little ones. We were still able to have a parade inside the school. Mr. Campbell came, watched the kids, so we do appreciate you coming there. It was just to see the kids' face as they walked around. You know they were smiling underneath those masks. Pretty amazing. Want to thank the PTA as well. They provided activity for the teachers so they could do an activity, still make things fun during that day. We are also doing fourth grade testing this week, and I got to give it out to my staff who has go over and beyond. We had a couple teachers that could not be there, and without our staff, we couldn't make it happen. We haven't missed a beat. And lastly, Mr. Tullio, I don't want to steal everyone's thunder. This is my 20th year in education. My first year teaching at Sheridan Elementary School, coaching at Wilson. You're the athletic director, and that's when I first met you. I believe my father taught you her son.
Right.
And, that first year you taught me a lesson, how to talk to my players out on the court, not to yell, to talk to them with respect. Fast forward 20 years, still working with you. I don't think one time I have ever called you John. It was Mr. Tullio. And that's out of respect, and that's out of respect to everyone. Truly gonna miss you. I'm gonna, love having the conversations with you. You've been a mentor, a friend, co-worker, and you know what? If I could be half the guy you are, I'll be in good shape. So thank you.
Good evening. My name is Travis Lauer. I'm the principal at C.H. Campbell Elementary School here in Canfield. We had a lot of fun things that have been going on. We recently had our Halloween just as everyone else did. We were able to get outside for our parade, which was a great time having the kids walk around and enjoy seeing everybody's costumes. Just recently we had our Veterans Day program where without being able to hold an assembly, we were able to show an assembly from when our fourth graders were in second grade. It was just a great experience to see those kids, see them seeing themselves 2 years ago and just how much they've grown and matured over that time. We also put together a compilation of all of the veterans that are serving our families and our country. So our families were able to submit those pictures and we compiled those to honor those people as well. It was a great day and definitely a great experience. Our Full Book Fair is going to be held virtually this year, and that is going to be ongoing until we get to Thanksgiving break. So if any parents are interested, they can support our library by going on and purchasing books there. And also the Toys for Tots collection bins are going to be up in our lobby as well. Some fun things that we've been trying to send home with the kiddos. We partnered with Oh Wow to offer some STEM kits that we were sending home to all of our students that they can do some fun STEM activities at home. As well as the Canfield Rotary is submitting some activities for the lighting of the green as well for those ceremonies. So very happy to get that stuff home to our kiddos. Parent-teacher conferences were just held virtually and went as well as you could possibly want them to go. So it was definitely a great time to see those parents connecting with the teachers for the benefit of those students. Definitely always an honored and cherished tradition having those. Our ability and achievement testing is going well. That will end up with our fourth graders tomorrow. And our staff meeting this month focused on remote learning plans and the possibility that that would happen at some point. Combined staff meeting with both elementary schools, a lot of very, very positive conversation. And Anybody that truly knows me knows I'm a very emotional person. But I am going to do my best. So, I've had the honor and privilege of working with Mr. Tullio for the past 10 years. It speaks to his credit and goes without saying, you'd be hard-pressed to find a more exemplary model of what an educator should be. He's an amazing person, a true friend, and an inspiration to us all. Although I've only had the privilege of knowing Mr. Tullio for 10 years, he knew my wife even more. His care and concern for her helped ease the anxiety and stress in moving alone into a new and unknown place. He treated her as though she was his daughter and truly cared about her as if she was his own. Even to the point of asking her to leave her fiance, me, and start dating her son. It's something I've never quite let him live down, and probably never will. Once I was hired in Canfield, he treated me as family as well. And that's the thing about John. His care and concern for his Canfield family was always genuine, and you could just tell. As we had children, he welcomed them into his family as well. Kids can always tell if you truly care about them. And my kids, just like all the kids in Canfield, love seeing Mr. Tullio whenever he's around. But Mr. Tullio's impact extends way beyond my personal family. It extends to the entire Canfield community. In the 10 short years I've worked with him, he's been integral in the adoption of a highly successful mathematics curriculum that will pave our students' way to the futures they deserve. He brought additional reading and writing supports to our students so they can learn at their own pace and continue to grow. He's been instrumental in the development of a comprehensive K-12 STEM program for our district, a program we hope to roll out this year in our elementary schools, but were forced to put on hold due to the many challenges of this current school year. Finally, he stepped up as superintendent during an unparalleled time in education. He helped Canfield plan and prepare for a pandemic for which there were no manuals to guide us. Our district would not be as successful today if not for his diligent efforts and boundless determination. Even these accomplishments, though, only provide a small glimpse into the impact he has made on the children and education of people in Mahoning Valley. John, no one deserves their retirement more than you do. Thank you for all you've done for me, for my family, for the students you've impacted in your career. You will truly be missed, and I hope you continue to be honored by the road that your legacy will continue to take Canfield down. Thank you.
Continuing on. Can we have we have our minutes that we get for last month. We get these ahead of time, we review them, and can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved. Nader.
Campbell seconds.
Is there any discussion of those minutes? Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes. Now moving on, we'll go over the treasurer's report.
If you refer to the cash summary report, again, I want to reiterate on the last page, the 500 funds are the federal funds, and you'll notice there's the 3 new funds that relate to the pandemic money. And we will be applying for those funds. Some of them expire December 30th, so we're doing our best to get everything in line and get things paid for. The appropriation report, it was just posted on there today. Sorry for the late posting. It shows 36% is spent and encumbered, and we're 1/3 of the way through the year. which is 33%, so we're in a good spot right now based on our overall budget that was adopted in September. Check payment register. You notice at the top, this is October was a 3 payroll month, so there's 3 payrolls at the very top. Usually there's only 2. Also, I wanted to point out, City of Canfield for $77,000, it's about 10 items down on the first page. That was our share of the SRO for the 2021 school year. I didn't have any other comments on the check payment register. Purchase orders, new items start on page 19. Nothing really out of the ordinary there. We're still stocking up on pandemic supplies or COVID supplies. You'll see some items on there relating to that. And then the investment report, as you can see, it keeps getting shorter and shorter as the CDs mature. I called the bank to get some CD rates, and they said banks aren't even offering them. They apparently don't need or want money at this time. So the best we can do are our sweep accounts or our money market accounts, which are Star Ohio is at 0.14% and Farmers Bank is at 0.4%, which they've kept that rate higher than most money markets for us, but it's still extremely low. So again, interest earnings are not going to look good this year. Does anybody have any questions on any of the reports this month? If not, if we could have a motion to approve them.
Kluchar moves to accept the financial reports as presented.
Can I have a second? Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes. We've got a proclamation.
Yes, we
Mr.
do.
Knoll, you want to?
Yeah, we have the township trustees, and I think she has that down there for us.
Proclamation to recognize the Canfield Township Trustees, November 18th, 2020. Whereas it is the intention of the Canfield Local School District to provide all students with the best possible education, and whereas the Canfield Township Trustees recognize and acknowledge the school's intent as well as difficulties during the current COVID-19 pandemic, and whereas the township has gifted $30,000 in monetary assistance to the schools for COVID relief, and whereas the Township Trustees have joined the School Board and Administration in supporting the youth of our community and strive to improve the well-being of our students by contributing toward the necessary tools needed to maintain a safe environment, and whereas the Township Trustees respond on behalf of the community to the needs of its students. Now, therefore, the Canfield Schools hereby proclaim its thanks and appreciation to the Canfield Township Trustees for their service to this community and their dedication to our children.
Thank you. And our commissioners, Ms. Klucher.
Proclamation to recognize the Mahoning County Commissioners, November 18th, 2020. Whereas it is the intention of the Canfield Local School District to provide all students with the best possible education in a clean and safe environment, and whereas the Mahoning County Commissioners recognize and acknowledge the school's mission as well as difficulties during the current COVID-19 pandemic, and whereas the Commissioners have gifted a hand-washing station to Canfield schools to assist in stopping the spread of COVID-19, and whereas the Mahoning County Commissioners have joined the School Board and Administration in supporting the youth of our community and strive to improve the well-being of our students by contributing toward the necessary tools needed to maintain a clean and safe environment. And whereas the Mahoning County Commissioners responded on behalf of the community to the needs of its students. Now, therefore, the Canfield Schools hereby proclaims its thanks and appreciation to the Mahoning County Commissioners for their service to this community and their dedication to our children.
Thank you. Proclamation to recognize Mr. John Tullio. Whereas it is the intention of the Canfield Local School District Board of Education Administration to focus attention on noteworthy occasions and individuals. And whereas tonight, the Superintendent and Board of Education wish to recognize and congratulate John Tullio on his retirement. And whereas John Tullio has had a tremendous and positive impact on the lives of many young scholars, student athletes, teachers, administrators, by instilling in them the importance of education, teamwork, discipline, and attitude. And whereas John Tullio served the Youngstown community for 35 years as a classroom teacher, coach, principal, coordinator, project manager, assistant to the superintendent. And whereas John Tullio most recently served the Canfield community as a principal, director of curriculum and instruction, interim superintendent. And whereas John Tullio received the Youngstown State University Beagley College of Education Lifetime Educational Service Award. Now therefore, on behalf of the Canfield Local School District and the Board of Education, I do hereby wish to honor, commend, and thank Mr. Tullio for his unwavering dedication to education and his 49 years of service. And as I said the other day, they don't come any better.
Talk about emotional. As you know, I do get emotional, but I will try to get through this. So bear with me. I think that letter that I sent out sums it all up. I've had 49 great years. I'm one of the few individuals who I was able to accomplish all of my goals. When I was in Youngstown City Schools, I had certain goals, and I was able to accomplish them. And then I went beyond those goals. And then I was fortunate enough to be hired by Dante. And to come to Canfield was icing on the cake. I never, ever thought each day that I came to Canfield that it was work. It was a pleasure. I had fun. And working with our teachers and the administrative staff, Canfield is blessed. The Canfield community really doesn't know how blessed they are to have the administrators that we have who care so much about their kids every day when they come to school. And I'm so proud of you guys. Judd, I know those lunches of salad will continue, okay? But it's been a real pleasure. And the important thing that I do want to get across, that me leaving at this time has nothing to do with Mr. Knoll. It has everything to do with it's the time for me. He asked me when he first came, if I could give him 5 years.
That's gospel, that's the truth. I did. I need 5 good years.
I wish I had 5 good years to give him, because I would. Because it's a great place. And I'm sure he's going to be very successful in Canfield. I'm disappointed that I'm leaving at this time, and there's some things to finish projects, our STEM, our additive manufacturing, our advanced manufacturing, our computer science, the esports program that we're just getting off the ground. There are a number of issues. But I know they'll continue, because Canfield's in great hands with our administrative team and Mr. Knoll. And with that, I better shut up so that we can move on. But I want to thank everybody for the kind words. I'd like to thank my wife, for her support. She's always been there. For those of you that know Mr. Antonucci, our deputy sheriff that works all of our games, I do have to tell you, he said to me one day, he said, I don't understand it. He says, I think those kids like your wife more than they like you. And I think I'd have to agree with him. We've adopted a lot of children throughout the years here at Canfield. They're all our kids. And again, thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, board members, I'm going to ask you to go down to the floor, if you don't mind, and take a quick seat. We have a special video presentation for you. Okay?
The Canfield Local School District would like to congratulate the following athletes on a fantastic fall sports season.
My name is Nick Plant, and I got first team AAC for cross country.
I'm Mike Baker. I made first team All AAC for boys cross country.
My name is Cameron Manette, and I'm on the first team AAC for cross country.
I'm Delaney O'Brien, and I got first team All AAC in cross country. Hi, I'm Jackie Kinnick. I'm first All AAC for golf.
Hi, I'm Madison Murphy. I'm first team All AAC for golf.
Hi, I'm Amy Stabler, and I won first AAC for golf.
Haley Tassone was named first team All AAC in girls golf.
Hi, I'm Eileen Miguel. I'm first team AAC for golf.
Hi, my name is Connor Dagan. I was named first team All AAC for boys golf.
Bryce Daggett was named first team All AAC in boys golf.
My name is Nicholas Beistel, and I'm on first team All AAC for golf.
I'm Anna Todd, and I got first team AAC for tennis. Hi, I'm Gia Francisco, and I got first team AAC for tennis. Hi, I'm Laura Francisco, and I was named first team AAC for tennis. Hi, I'm Abby Householder, and I'm in first team All AAC, and I was named District and Conference Player of the Year for volleyball. Okay, I'm Marissa Rizzi. I got first team AAC in soccer.
Lauren Yeoman was named first team All AAC in girls soccer.
I'm Katie Smarkov. I got first team AAC for soccer. I'm Morgan Carey. I'm first team AAC for soccer.
Hi, my name is Mike McCurry, and I got first team All AAC for soccer.
My name is Graham Berkat. I made first team All AAC for boys soccer.
Joe Backus was named first team All AAC and first team All District in boys soccer.
Good evening, and I would like to make a special presentation to head football coach Mike Pavlansky for gaining his 150th victory on October 24th versus Akron St. Vincent St. Mary, where Canfield defeated Akron St. Vincent St. Mary 14-3 in the regional semi-game. So I've no other to do. I'd like to present Coach Pav with a plaque for his 150th victory.
Mike, I truly appreciate this honor. I have no idea, on behalf of our program, our assistant coaches, our players, many dedicated people have helped me get to this point, and truly blessed to be here in Canfield. Thank you.
We couldn't bring the kids to you, so I survived that way tonight. Yep.
Congratulations to them. It's great that you're able to get those seasons off.
Yeah, just a quick word of thanks for George up there in the booth and Miss Renee English for putting all that time and effort together to put that video. They do amazing work, as you guys well know.
We appreciate that for sure. Do we have any public participation?
No.
No. Okay, on to the capital conference reports. You want me to go first?
If you're ready.
Yep. Yeah, so we go every year to the Capital Conference that's in Columbus typically. Of course, this year it was virtual. It wasn't, the topics weren't quite as good as they usually are, but I went through one on technology leasing and financing and ways to prevent having the kind of spikes in payments and so forth. So I think it was useful, and I'm going to share that with Ms. Prince and Mr. Knoll. I think we can definitely put that to work.
All right. So I went to 4 or 5 virtually. I'll kind of give you some cliff notes on a couple. The OSBA legislative update's always my favorite one. Talks about all the legislation out there, and you get to hear Senator Lehner, who's she's really passionate about public education. I'm a big fan of hers. So a couple things looming out there, and I think I've shared some of this with you in updates, but Senate Bill 358 talks about basically giving school districts some relief with all the requirements that are out there. One of those being the state required assessments. We talked a little bit about that tonight, 3rd grade, reading guarantees, those types of things. Some relief on the state report cards. Kind of hard to be held accountable to some of those features when we're not even really, doing school as we're used to. Graduation requirements is another big one with the end of course exams. That's kind of on Mr. Tullio's alley. But there's hopefully some relief if all that comes to fruition, which obviously we're hoping it does. And then House Bill 305 and Senate Bill 376, I had mentioned to you about a new school funding formula, basically a new framework. Takes in a whole bunch of different pieces and parts. Looks at teacher-based costs, support staff, district leadership, a state share that would come in, some pupil impact aid, special ed dollars, gifted, and an increase in transportation, which would be very nice for those of us that have a fleet of 30-some buses. So those are running concurrently, as I mentioned to you in my update, which is interesting because they've got all hands on deck. They're really trying to press this through. So even we're in a quote lame duck type scenario, it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on that. And then the second one I'll mention is I went to a threat assessment workshop, and you guys know I'm real passionate about that, so it was nice to get a little refresher just to kind of get back into gear. We reviewed the decision tree, which basically there are 5 different steps to talk about if there is a threat issue in the district, how do you respond to it. Talked about all the different stakeholders, and I want to let you know we actually had our first district threat assessment team meeting last week, which was nice. We did all that virtually, but we were able to get all the players in there and start having some good conversations about how to move forward with that threat assessment team.
Anybody else? Anybody ready to go?
Yeah, I'll be brief. So first time attending the conference, and obviously in a virtual format, it was a little unique, but there was a lot for me that I learned. And the legislative update was very enlightening and educated me on a lot of fronts that I was needed to learn. So that was me soaking it up and I took a lot of notes there. And then there was an academic leadership, advancing excellence, and trying to understand, the ranking reports and how one of the schools, I think it was Grandview Heights, that was leading the session, and they just kind of talked about where they were and how they've elevated their game. And so just pearls on just continuing to challenge, school districts are challenging themselves to raise their game and raise their ranking. And I think as well as we're doing and where we're at from a ranking perspective, it'll be nice to continue to challenge ourselves to improve on that scorecard. And then the final one was just, there was a lot that I went through, but the new board member engagement and getting the most out of the association, the OSBA, and just seeing how they are a resource and an advocate to the school board. So that's my feedback.
Okay, I'm up. This was my first time attending the Capitol Conference, and there were several that I were able to view virtually. The 2 that stood out most, the first one was the Roadmap to Purposeful Tech Integration, and I saw a lot of things in there that they talked about that I think we can maybe adapt and do some things here, bring it on board Canfield and have a good discussion on. They were very adamant about not letting the current health situation in our country and the world, the COVID situation, deter any of that. They talked about the importance of integrating and incorporating people's opinions and you know, taking it to the parents, to the families, to the staff. It was a really, really, really good presentation, but it was long, a lot of details that I don't think we can adapt to all, but it was very interesting. The second one that stood out to me that, you know, I just as a principal myself over at the Career Center, I attended one that a lot of things stood out here, new decades, new student discipline challenges. And just when you think that, you know, you kind of have a grip on the discipline issues going on in all of our schools today, and I don't mean just here in our district, but just all around the country. The top 5 that they really did a nice job talking about and giving examples of how you know, board policy influences, you know, decision making, and also what, you know, on day in, day out basis, how administrators handle, you know, situations that arise. The topics that they talked about were SROs, CBD oil, cell phones, and Title IX, religious expression, and then lastly, political and graphic face coverings. That have gotten a lot of hot, you know, discussions and debate and so forth. So it was very enlightening. It's definitely one I'm going to go back and watch again, because I think, you know, it's all useful information, you know, in our district and pretty much everywhere. So
Nice.
I was pleased to see that all the sessions are recorded and they're available to us through the 31st of December. Something happened at the last minute and I wasn't able to attend my sessions Monday. I wasn't able to I had the time off work, but then something happened where I had to go back in. But Tuesday I did catch a session, and I also saw the legislative from Saturday, but you guys covered that, and that's always my passion. Of course, as soon as I did this, it timed out. The one that I really enjoyed was, and it may be something we want to look at for Canfield, but there are many communities. This started in the Columbus area, but there's a program called Neighborhood Bridges, and they connect resources. It's mostly going through school districts in Ohio, but this organization connects givers in a community to those that need things. So it's kind of like almost a software database, and there's like almost like a text list where people can they can sign up to be volunteers, and then they can get a message from the board to know, not the school board, but I mean the message board, to know to go to a drop-off point and drop something off if somebody needs it. But it's a way to connect needs to resources, and I thought it was really, really exciting. And it's something that they said school districts can implement with zero overhead.
Anything for us, Trace? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, the fact that these are recorded, I mean, that is really useful, because every year I take all these frantic notes. John and I usually debrief over, you know, things that I learned or he learned, and it's hard sometimes to catch all that. Hopefully, they continue with the recording. That I think is really invaluable.
Great professional development.
Okay, with that, we'll move on to new business.
Okay, so some personnel. Well, it's with great sadness that I will recommend motion for Mr. Tullio, our Director of Curriculum Instruction, for his purpose of retirement, and Ms. Ivana, which is our high school tutor, her purpose of retirement as well, effective June the 4th. I'm also like to recommend the hiring of Evelyn Ruby Banos de Papalardo. And I got that right, if you want. Our middle school cafeteria worker. Had a real nice conversation with her. Approved the unpaid leave for Ms. Kara and Barb. And also like to recommend the hiring of our extracurricular coaches that was presented in Exhibit 4.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve those resignations and also those hiring in exhibits 1A through 4?
So moved. Atway.
Second, Kluchar.
And I would just like to say, John, you know, you took over in January in what I would say is probably the most difficult time in the entire history of this district. And honestly, I don't think anyone in the community will ever appreciate how difficult those times were. But having been there with you for that, I mean, I would have not wanted anyone else to shepherd the district through that. And I truly appreciate all that you did, Dad.
Thank you.
Any other discussion about that?
Just thank you, Mr. Tullio, for your years of service, dedication to kids. Everywhere I go, when people hear, you know, what schools I'm part of, and they hear Youngstown, they hear Canfield, your name is always one of the first ones that come up. And I've never met a person that said anything else but how awesome you've been and what a leader and role model you've been. So just on behalf of kids everywhere, and every kid, every parent, every teacher, that every administrator, every board member, every superintendent that you've touched and helped along the way those 49 years, just want to say thank you for them.
Thank you.
Well, I'd be remiss. Mr. Tullio is right. I did ask him for 5 or 6 more years when he called a few months ago. And at the end of the day, you know, I said, I want you to do what's best for you. And he's doing what's best for him, but he also did what was best for me personally, just to be very honest with you. I needed somebody to help get me adjusted to Canfield, and there is no better person out there than he. When he called me to say, hey, you know, congratulations, I needed what I call that institutional knowledge, and that's what 49 years does to you. He'll say he's old. I call it institutional knowledge. But there is no way I could sit here tonight and tell you we're in the place we're at right now in Canfield with everything going on. And it wasn't because of him being here. Without him here and his presence and his mentoring for me, there's no way Canfield will be at the place that it is. I firmly believe that, and I know everybody in this community does as well. So I'm happy for him on a personal level and professional level, but obviously I'm going to miss our nice talks in the morning and kind of getting an update. This job, you're on an island. I know that's hard to believe sometimes, but when you're a superintendent, you're on an island. But it was also nice to have somebody else on my island with me for the first few months of my career here. So he's doing what I hope I do one day. He's leaving this place better than he found it at the end of the day.
Thank you, Mr. Tullio.
It's been a pleasure, a real pleasure. Thank you. We will always be Cardinals.
I just want to say, well, I'm not going to be able to get through this, so I'm just going to say that we all will miss you. I will miss you. My kids will miss you. And thank you for everything that you've done for us here. And I'll put more in a letter. It's easier to write a letter.
I understand.
I consider you a mentor, Mr. Tullio. Thank you so much for everything.
Amen to that.
Okay. Patty, can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like a motion to approve the treasurer to be appointed to receive 3 hours of public records training on behalf of the Board of Education.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the treasurer to be appointed to receive 3 hours of public records training, which I know is one of the most exciting things that she
So
does
moved.
here. I've heard about it.
It's her or you, so you better
Yes,
blast that.
I know all about it. I know all about it.
Okay.
So moved, Klucher.
I'll second.
Here you go.
Any other discussion?
take good notes and share them with me.
I'm happy to defer if the
Oh,
board
boy.
members would like to attend.
I've been there.
I don't know if I can get off work.
You're so good at it, though.
Yes,
so-
she is, well said.
Institutional knowledge is
Thank you.
important.
Yes.
Nice try.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson?
Yes.
Okay, how about a motion to approve the second reading of our policies in Exhibit 6 as presented?
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to adopt the policies listed in exhibit number 6?
So moved.
Campbell
Second.
seconds.
Sorry.
Any discussion? And again, for the audience, these are the policies that control the district. We have had a first reading and discussion about those last meeting. So we typically do a first reading and then a second reading. At the second reading, we pass them, so that's what we're doing now. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson?
Yes.
And I'd like to ask for a motion to accept the donations as the enclosed list in Exhibit 7.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the donations listed?
Campbell so moves.
Atway seconds.
I usually give the totals, which I don't have that up in front of me.
66, 72, 58.
I do, or I can get it. Ms. Treasurer, you got those numbers?
For the month, 6,672.58, and through November, the end of November, this fiscal year, 15,992.27.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua? Mrs. Klucher?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the rate of $10 per hour for the following classified substitutes effective November 23rd, 2020 for our secretaries, cafeteria workers, and aides.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the $10 per hour rate as discussed?
Campbell so moves.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson?
Yes. Superintendent's report.
All right, hey, I want to spend just a little bit of time talking about how we're doing in school, all right, with everything going on, just to put some information out there for our community and just update you guys as well. So, this week I implemented phase 2 in addition, all right? Phase 1 was get us started. Phase 2 is we got to clamp down a little bit more. Phase 2, Operation Stay Open Canfield, all right? So, a little military tactic is kind of where we're at.
In honor of Veterans Day.
In honor of Veterans Day. That's exactly why I was there. So, before I start I just need to thank a lot of different people. I'm not sure we all thought we'd be here in person this time of the year, but we've done it with a lot of people. Our first one are our parents. I begged and pleaded a couple times at the beginning of the year, we need you. We need you to assess your kiddos when they leave, take their temperature. You guys have been doing that. We have been getting calls like crazy, hey, I'm keeping Travis at home because he's not feeling good, or we're a little concerned. Our principals are getting calls, I'm getting calls and emails, our athletic director is as well. He's trying to deal with the sports part of it. Our parents have been awesome, and we're making it because of you, and we need you to keep the villages for us, keep strong. The next group, I don't know if you guys remember, but we blessed an extra half an hour for our nurses this year. I thought we might have some issues, right? But what a blessing our ladies have been. These gals are working like crazy. I've been a little needy. I'm asking them for a lot of data and giving me updates on who's on first base, that kind of thing. But they have been doing a great job just dealing with everything else, but put COVID on top of it. And then I got to call out Nurse Reggie, who's at the middle school. She is my COVID consultant. And I'm going to tell you what, this gal is the perfect person I needed. She is organized, she's to the T, she has all this stuff memorized. And she doesn't miss a beat. She is doing a great job. Our cleaning folks are going above and beyond. You know, we're asking them to use these power guns and put stuff out, and we're asking them to clean and wipe down things we push and turn and knobs and everything just to help. Our bus drivers are cleaning the buses for us in between routes. I think that's helping us. I know it's helping us. That's why we're able to be here. Mr. Tullio talked about this. Our administrative team is just doing a great job. I'm talking to Mr. Moldavon the other night at 9 o'clock at night. We're calling parents to let their kids know that they're quarantined. I'm talking to Mr. Lavery last weekend, I think on a Sunday night, we're making calls. Those guys have been doing a great job trying to deal with everything else going on and put COVID on top of that, but still keeping teaching and learning the focus in the district amongst all the chaos. And that's a testament to Mr. Tullio as well. And then obviously our teachers are going at it. They haven't missed a beat, whether you're in person or whether you're online. Some of our teachers have been sick or on quarantine. We're live streaming from home. You know, we're still going at it. We're posting Google Classroom, Google Meet. I mean, it's been a team effort, but we got to keep it going. And I'm worried about the holidays. Not gonna lie to you. I've got some data to share with you a little bit here to kind of transition. As we sit here tonight, we have 13 positive COVID cases of staff and students of in-person instruction. 13. The good news is that is less than 1% of the total of our staff and students combined. So something's working. That's the first thing I want to say. All the things I mentioned, all the people I mentioned are helping us. I firmly believe schools are the safest place for our kids to be because of all the protocols and all the things we have in place. Now, with that said, we have 174 kids that are in quarantine. And what that means is this. So I'm a positive COVID case, and I was in school, and I get identified. Anybody within 6 feet of me for a 15-minute or more time period is called a close contact. Those are the calls that I referred to that we're making home. So we have 174 of those. Now, we lose a bunch, and then a bunch come back. So it changes almost every day. But that's the typical 14-day quarantine is really what's happening there. Now, let me tell you this. On October 30th, which was Halloween, we had 3 positive cases. 3. 2 weeks later, we have 13. You see what my fear is? Mm-hmm. When we have opportunities to get together, Halloween being one of them, our numbers spike and are kind of going through the roof. But here's something else that's important. 2 key facts. There has been no student-to-student spread of COVID in our school district. All right, I'm knocking on wood there thus far. And there has no one been under quarantine. No one quarantined has gotten sick either. So I know some people are concerned about the protocol, thinking, man, 14 days might be too much. You might be right, but all I can tell you is these protocols are working. Okay, they are working. I know we're driving some parents crazy, and especially when I call them and they say, oh my goodness, what's going on here? But our parents have been very cooperative. I do need to say that. But those are 2 key facts. So to me, like I said earlier, schools are the safest place to be. And our folks are doing a great job. And here's my personal opinion, and I'm interested in the boards as well, but here's what I think we need to do. Schools need to remain open as long as these 2 things can happen. Number 1, we have enough staff to put in the building. Okay? And I'm losing some teachers by friendly fire, which means their spouse is positive, so now they get quarantined. Okay? And that's hard. I know we're all trying to do the best we can, but that's going to happen, and we get there. So I got to have enough staff. And then number 2, as long as there's not a spike in student-to-student spread within our district, I think we're in good shape. So my hope, my plan, my prayer is that we will continue on, okay, until one of those things get us. And to be honest with you, some of our colleagues in the county, that's happened to them. In mostly it's been the staffing piece. Okay, that's really where we're getting in trouble. We had a superintendent meeting today, and that might happen to Canfield too. I hope it doesn't, but that's just something that we're gonna, possibly have to deal with. But the key from the health department, and once again, we got some great people there. It is a community spread within the family unit. That's what's kind of crippling Canfield right now, okay? And the numbers for Canfield aren't real good. You've been reading the paper, and our health department, I've been updating you all as well, but as of today, we've had 11 hospitalizations total, which is up a couple, and 144 positive illness. And those are increases over the last 5 or 6 weeks. So the data says, as a community, we got to kind of buckle down here, take care of ourselves, take care of one another. So we need your help. I mean, the governor talked the other night. I know all of you heard that about the curfew, and I kind of like the idea we're not going to shut it down. We just want to slow it down. Same thing with schools. I don't want to shut it down, but we just got to slow down the spread, okay, from our community coming in. Staff and students, when in doubt, stay out. That's what I told them. All right, when in doubt, stay out. We can make it. We can make it hopefully without you, but if you come in and you're sick, and then we get that quarantine issue, we're losing more kids and or staff members that way. Keep your mask on, 6 feet or more. Part of my operation, phase 2, for teachers, stay 10 feet away from one another. 10 feet, as best we can. We're friendly people, you guys know that. We like to talk and eat lunch together, but we're taking ourselves out with friendly fire, is what I call it. So we're going to 10 feet and we're going to hang on. The lieutenant governor the other day made a great quote. I wrote this down. Treat everyone as if they're positive. That's not a bad place to be, okay? Keep that in mind. Thanksgiving, great time of the year. We all have a lot to be thankful for, but I'm concerned, okay? So the recommendation is small family gatherings as best you can, social distance in the no household. I know my wife kind of argues, yells at me at home a little bit, but I'm trying to be better. We're wearing a mask even with our family. When my daughter's there, obviously with my son, because he's more susceptible, he can't wear one, so the no family's wearing masks, even at home. And then when we go to grandma's for Thanksgiving, we're going to try to sit out in the garage, be outside as best we can, and we're all going to mask up. So with all that being said, the possibility is still out there where I might need to close down a classroom, maybe a building, or the district, okay, down the road. Our emergency remote learning plan is online for all our parents to see, and it's a great document. Mr. Lavery's still with us here. He and the elementary folks had a big piece of that. Middle school and high school is going to kind of just take care of itself because we're going to follow the day. But it's online for our parents to review. And I want to tell our parents, be prepared. Okay, be prepared. I can't tell you when or where, but we need to have a contingency plan in place. So be thinking about that. And like I said, I'm hopeful that we can stay strong and keep our kids here in school where I think it's the safest place for them to be. So that's a quick summary of what's going on. And before I forget to say it, everybody have a happy Thanksgiving, because it is well deserved in Canfield. Let me just say that. Any other questions or comments or thoughts? Or
I do have one question. I'm sorry, go ahead, Nader.
No, go ahead, and I'll go after you.
I just have one quick question, because I know there's been, stuff blows up on social media, and people seem to be confused, and parents seem to be confused. If their child is a close contact, they get a phone call, right?
Yes, they get a phone call from the administrators.
We do the letters because we have to, and we
you
know
get a
that.
phone
But
call.
Everybody in the school gets the letter. But
Yeah.
if the parents get a letter, that doesn't mean they're in danger
Right.
if they get the phone call.
Yeah, they'll get a phone call from us, okay, kind of saying, hey, you're in the, what I
With
call the splash zone.
instructions too.
With some quarantine dates, but the health department is still prioritizing those folks and still making that call for us.
Okay.
Which I think is
Good.
important because, we're not medical folks here.
Yeah.
But when the health department calls, our parents understand, okay, we better listen to this one and or call back too. But that's the protocol. We reach out first because they're overwhelmed, to be honest with you. And then we gotta get kids out, so we don't have any more chance of a risk.
Yeah.
And then the health department follows up.
Well, I know people that got that phone call, and
Yeah.
sometimes it is late at night, so thank you to our administrators.
Yep.
Absolutely. I want to thank you, the administration and the staff and the teachers for everything that they've done. Just a point of clarification, because I was going to ask you the question, that probably is floating out there. You gave us the whole 174 quarantined, and at what point would you want to go remote? You've answered that. I appreciate the Operation Stay Open, because I think there's a lot of parents that do feel that it's a safer place to be within the schools. The other point of clarification is you said keep 10 feet apart. I'm sure people that might be watching streaming, that's the teachers that
Yes.
you're telling to keep 10 feet
I've
apart?
asked our staff.
Staff, just to minimize
I've
their.
asked the adults, because we're awful friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure people knew that it was staff, just to be clear there. And then one question that I'm wondering if you could address, because I know this is floating out there. Let's use the high school, for example. You have student A that happens to be a positive case, and the quarantine protocol is in place, and then student B, how can that be a different situation where maybe the number of people quarantined are different?
Yeah. So that's a good question. The high school affects us the most with a positive case, okay? Because high school kids go like to 4 or 5 different classes, okay? So the problem now becomes, I have my seat, we look at seating charts, principals actually go into the rooms, and I know this guy right here carries a measuring stick with him, I've seen him in action, okay? And we might have 4 or 5 kids per class now, like in the high school, for example.
Okay.
So take 4 or 5 classes times 5 kids, you're looking at 20, 25 kids sometimes. Where at the elementary school, the plus is, we only got 20-some kids in a room. And if I'm a positive, I might just have 3 or 4 of us around that has to be asked to stay home and quarantine. So that's one difference. The other one is, you could have 2 high school kids. And what's interesting here is, and I'm not gonna get too deep, because this is good health department stuff, but it's all about symptom onset, okay? So if somebody gets tested and has symptoms on a Wednesday, but wasn't in school like Monday or Tuesday before that, sometimes we don't need to look at close contacts because they weren't in the school setting.
Gotcha.
Okay? And then the other problem we're having, these 174 kids that I talked about, they're not all school function related quarantines. They're not. Some of these other ones are things going on at home, things going on at the church, where the health department's just calling them and telling them you have to stay home. They just get caught up with us because they're one of our kids.
Very good.
So there's a ton of moving parts really on how this works out, and that's why Nurse Reggie is just, she's been awesome. We have flow charts and templates and all kinds of good stuff with the health department, but that's a long answer for a complicated question.
No, I appreciate that, so thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think another point of clarification are those letters, because I've
Yeah.
seen that come up on
Okay.
social media, and the contents of those letters. And I know I've posted on Facebook about the fact that there's specific guidance.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to, from the federal government
Yeah.
on that. I don't know if you want to comment.
Yeah, we're required by law to send these letters home, and we have a 24-hour period. So the first letter goes to the class. So if I'm in a 2nd grade class and there's a positive case in there, that letter, Mr. Lavery prints, runs off, sends home with those kiddos, okay? The other one is a school type situation. So we have the class letter and the school letter that we're required to send out within 24 hours. Now, we've been posting it to our website, the letter. That's not a requirement, but I just think it's good for people just to be able to see it if folks are interested. But those are requirements, and then we update. If you've been on the website, you've seen our dashboard. We're required to update that as well. And I got to give kudos to Renee. She's the point person updating that for us as well. So there are a lot of requirements that we are asked to do.
So that explains why some people are getting duplicate letters.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
If I'm in the 2nd grade class and in Camel, I'm getting 2.
Gotcha.
If I'm not in the 2nd grade class, I just get the school one versus the class one.
And to your point, Dave, I think the school one, because the format looks the same, some people don't read the first 3 lines that
That's
says,
probably true.
this
Yeah.
is the high school
Yeah.
positive, or this is the middle school,
Good
because it
point.
just looks like it's the same
They're
letters
very
that are getting
similar.
over and over.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, they
Well,
are.
and I think what's happening when there's multiple kids in the same school, are they then getting multiple copies, or we can condensing.
There was one day where we were able to see individuals, plural, but
Yeah.
usually they're one at a time. But we did have one day, and I can't remember which one it was, where we had 2 kids in the same building. So we just sent one letter home and put the plural individuals there.
But Mr. Knoll, isn't it fair to say that if you really carefully read the letter in its entirety, all the information you need to know is there?
Yeah.
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 So I think sometimes we get nervous at something,
Yeah.
tensions are heightened and nerves, and so people just kind of go to social media because they're worried, but.
No, those letters are from the health department. They really did a pretty nice job on them, and everybody in the county is using a very similar kind of template, so.
And we aren't allowed to put more details in those letters.
No, HIPAA.
We're not supposed to mention names, teachers' classrooms. There's a lot of laws, as you guys know, that says, now I'll be honest with you, I think word gets out and, people probably wouldn't know whatever, but as far as from a school perspective, we're not allowed to share that.
Yeah, there's some federal laws called FERPA that prevent the identification of students, and that's where a lot of this is coming from, so.
Well, thank you.
Anybody else have any other questions or thoughts about that? I mean, I think what I heard, and probably the most important thing that we need to keep in mind is that if we do go remote, chances are it's not because of infections, it's because of staffing issues.
Correct.
And that's, I saw a lot of conversation about our neighbor to the west, and they're going remote, and parents, concerned and discussing that. But the reality of the situation is, if you can't have enough adults, qualified adults in the classroom, even though we've got staff working from home, streaming back to the classroom, we can't continue. And I think that's what everybody has to keep in mind, that it's not necessarily the infections that could potentially do us in, because those are actually relatively low, even compared to a flu outbreak, where you've got tons and tons of kids. I mean, Travis can probably talk to some of the previous kind of flu or other things where we've had tons of kids out, but it's that staffing issue that I think we really are concerned
Because
about.
even in that situation, you have a teacher who's home remote, you still have to have a body to supervise the kids that are in there. So, and that's where we're getting in trouble sometimes there too.
Yeah. So, I think that's critical, and to Mr. Knoll's point, I mean, we have to be ready. Things could change quickly on this, so we just have to be ready. But the district is doing everything that they can to keep the kids that are in person, in school, and to keep that going, so. Any other comments on all that?
Well, my favorite piece of data is the 0 kid-to-kid in-school spread.
Correct.
That's the most important piece of data right there.
Okay, do we have anything else? Okay, with that, we are going to, I'd like a motion to adjourn to executive session to consider the employment of a public employee.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that? Roll call.
Mr. Elway?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Capital? Mrs. Klucher?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes. So we'll be back after, but I wouldn't expect any kind of, no actions afterwards, so there's really no reason to stay if you don't want to. Of course, welcome. Thank you.
Are we going to the library?
session, and with that, can I have a are we good? We're good. Yep. We're back in session, and with that, can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Atway so moves.
Campbell seconds.
Can I have a roll call, please?
All those in favor?
Aye.
You walk into that every week.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Happy Thanksgiving.